Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Davis Fieldhouse for the NCCAA D2 National Tournament. Today's game features the number 8 seeded Maranatha Baptist University SaberCats and the number 1 seeded Randall University Saints. At this time, we'd ask you to please stand for a word of prayer, and following prayer, we'll have our starting lineups. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the safety you gave these two teams getting down here to Greenville. We thank you for these two institutions and what they stand for. We thank you for these young men and the way they've dedicated themselves this season to be the best they can be. Would you give them great skill today as they play? Would you keep them safe? And we pray that even in a game of basketball, Lord, you would be most glorified. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's meet the starters for today's game. First, from the SaberCats, a senior guard, number 3, Jonathan Book. A senior guard, number 15, David Lerma. A senior forward, number 22, Rob Sonnenberg. A sophomore forward, number 23, Stephen Wilkerson. And a senior forward, number 35, Matt Gill. The SaberCats are coached by Keith Schausler. And now for the Saints of Randall University. A senior guard, number 1, Antonio Wilson. A senior forward, number 3, Malik Barnett. A junior forward, number 5, Daquan Cubitt. A senior guard, number 10, Cassius Lyons. And a senior guard, number 15, Brandon Askew. The Saints are coached by Mark Berkeroff.
Well, we get our look at the number 1 overall seed, the 3-time defending national champs, Randall University. They'll take on number 8, Maranatha. The winner will take on number 4, Great Lakes. The Crusaders, 76-69 winners over number 5, Arlington Baptist in our first quarterfinal of the day. Randall University led by the National Player of the Year, Antonio Wilson, 18 points, 4.5 assists. On the Maranatha side, we get our first look at John Book, their point guard, second-team All-American, missed last year's national tournament with an ankle injury, 12.8 points, a team-high, 4 assists, a team-high, shooting 42% from the field. He's a 4-year starter. And boy, you look at this Maranatha team, they bring back basically everybody from a year ago. They lose a second-team All-American. They lose Bryce Kashner. But outside of that, everybody that you're going to see today is somebody that has national tournament experience. Mark Barakoff relying on some new faces here in 2019. Couple recruits, couple guys that played on their JV program. This is one of them, Brandon Askew. Now top of the key, Wilson, who fires a long 3, no good. And David Lerma, the senior from Lodi, California, the defensive rebound. Here's Book. Onto that left side to Stephen Wilkerson, a sophomore from Dallas. Wilkerson giving Keith Salscheider 12 points and 4 rebounds a game. Left side, Book missed badly on his first jump shot, and a defensive rebound to Randall. Right side, Cassius Lyons, 3 no good, and Lerma with another defensive rebound for the SaberCats. Maranatha Baptist University out of Watertown, Wisconsin, and Lerma with the first points of this game. It gives Maranatha the early 2-0 advantage. Zach Kamichek threw the basketball up. 6 years as an official. Jared Moyd is your U1, 18 years. Joshua Chandler, the U2, with 3 years. Left side, 3, backside of the iron, and Lerma another rebound. That time it was Brandon Askew that missed from 3. Little pick and roll, nothing there. The play underneath with big Matt Gill. Gill into the lane, skips it right side to Sonnenberg. Sonnenberg lost 40 pounds, kind of with a recommitment to the game of basketball before this his senior year, and his 3 no good, but an offensive rebound by Matt Gill, one of the hardest working men in show business, and Matt Gill gonna go to the line and shoot 2. They charged a foul here to Randall's number 5, Daquan Cubitt, his first, team first. Gill to the line, the senior from Rockford, Illinois. And he puts the first free throw up and in, so 3-0 here, SaberCats early. Maranatha scores 75 a game. They give up 73. Second one no good, and the ball knocked out of bounds. It will stay here. So good effort there by Stephen Wilkerson to keep that basketball alive. Looking to bring it in is Boot. They find Matt Gill. Gill, a four-year player, first-year starter that Keith Salscheider says works his butt off and knows his role. Free throw line extended, it's Sonnenberg. May have walked there, nothing called. Hands it off to Book. Book into the lane, cutting is Gill, scooped it up and put it in. Boy, how did he get that one to drop in? Matt Gill with 3. And very quickly, it's 5-0 Maranatha. Tried to fire it underneath to one of their talented first-year players, Malik Barnett. But SaberCats deflected it. 10 on the shot clock. Cassius Lyons out to Wilson in the pink sneakers. Down to 7. Around the horn to Askew. 3 on the shot clock. Askew gonna have to make something happen. No good, and David Lerma with his 4th defensive rebound here in the first 2 minutes and some change. Lerma, they're gonna call him for an offensive foul. Tried to shake and bake and create a little bit of space and did a little too much with that offhand. So the foul on Lerma is his first, team first. It was Daquan Cubitt that beat him to the spot and forced him to have to go to that offhand to create some space. Nicely done by Cubitt. 5-0 here early. 17-13 to play. Number 1 in gray, going left to right. Number 8 in blue and gold. Around the horn, it's Lyons in rhythm. His 3 no good. And the ball goes out of bounds off of Cubitt and goes back to Maranatha. And Mark Barakoff doesn't like the way things are going, and he's called a full timeout here at the 17:01 mark. A couple storylines on this game with Randall. Mark Barakoff, one of the things he talked to us about is a lack of focus at times. He said, one of his questions was, how focused are we going to be? Are we going to rebound tonight was one of the questions. He was very concerned about the rebounding of Maranatha. He called Maranatha the best offensive rebounding team in the country, and they grab, I think, 13 offensive rebounds a game. That was a concern for him, but on the other side, he said, Rick, we're going to have trouble handling their rebounds. He said, Rick, I want to know how they're going to guard us, was one of the questions that he had. So obviously that's a storyline. 3-time defending champs playing now without the 3-time National Player of the Year, Trey Sneed. And for Maranatha, they get back to this tournament after a disappointing run last year when they went 1-2, got beat by 17 against Johnson in the national quarterfinals when Taylor Gilpin finished with a game-high 27. Kobe Jones added 16. Maranatha's second-team All-American Micah Shepard had 16 points and 7 rebounds. He scored all 16 of those points in the second half. Maranatha beat Kentucky Christian 85-78 in a consolation game, and then Dallas knocked off Maranatha 76-68 in the 5th place game. So big asterisk on last year was they did not have their point guard John Book, and that was a huge disadvantage as Wilkerson went to the left hand and dropped it in. It is 7-0 right now. The other storyline, I think, to finish that thought, when you talk to Mark Barakoff, he said, Rick, we're as vulnerable as we have been in recent years. I mean, we could go out and win this championship again. We're talented enough to do it. But he also said, Rick, we could get beat by anybody. Antonio Wilson finally stops the bleeding with a runner that makes it 7-2 at the 16:20 mark of this first half. Wilkerson holding the basketball, picked up by Lyons. Now they're going to smother. Coach over here from Maranatha yelling backdoor, and that's exactly the play when you overplay as much as Randall did. You got to send somebody to the rim, but instead they feed Jonathan Book, and Book hits a 15-footer in rhythm, and the lead goes right back up to 7. It's 9-2. Wilson, the National Player of the Year. Found that out on Tuesday night. His head coach, Mark Barakoff, got his second National Coach of the Year award. He dropped it off underneath and put up and in by Daquan Cubitt. Cubitt got free off of some penetration and dish from Malik Barnett. They are very excited about Barnett, and boy, Daquan Cubitt, a great story as well. A guy that has played JV the last 2 years. Lerma's three, no good. Sonnenberg, an offensive rebound. A lot of contact there and nothing called. Into the lane, Wilson lost the basketball. Guys on the floor from both sides. Good hustle by Lerma, good hustle by Daquan Cubitt. Lerma to the free throw line extended. He'll bring it back out, and Wilkerson will reset with 18 on the shot clock, 14:45 to play in the half. Off a screen at Sonnenberg, fading away from 17, front of the rim, no good. And they've always said, Keith Salscheider, that he shoots it a lot like Larry Bird, and that fade away from 17 right there looked a lot Bird-like, but Bird never hit the rim. Just dropped it in, 14:25 to play. Sonnenberg, a guy we're excited to see, though. Boy, he has had a terrific offseason. Shot clock at single digits, and Cubitt looks like he's not comfortable with it. 3 on the clock. Here's Cubitt, who picks it up to beat the horn. No. Offensive rebound, Brandon Askew, who just outleaped everybody in blue to grab that one. 14 minutes to play, 9-4. SaberCats led 7-0 before Antonio Wilson scored 3 minutes and 40 seconds in. Lyons will dribble to the right elbow and fires and hits. Boy, you overplay on that guy, he's gonna make you pay. Cassius Lyons made the national tournament team last year. He's a 3-time third-team All-American. Made the national tournament team 3 years, 2017, 16, 17, and 18. And that one is no good, and they're going to give the basketball back to Randall. Substitutions for both teams. John Bailey is checked in for Randall. Couple substitutions coming in for Maranatha. Big 6'9" junior Justin Blake, 3.7 points and 3.2 rebounds. Also checking in looks to be number 5, Aaron Sanders, the freshman, the true freshman from Walmart country in Bentonville, Arkansas. Right side, Lyons, his 3 no good. Defensive rebound, Book. 9-6, number 8 leads number 1, about 7 minutes in. Rick Cooper, the NCCAA Sports Network. It's our second quarterfinal of the day. We have 2 women's games at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern time. Third and fourth men's quarterfinal game scheduled for 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Left side Lyons, right back out to Wilson. Gonna force him to shoot it, and a defensive rebound by Sonnenberg for Maranatha. They have dominated the backboards to this point. Book out to the left side, and Aaron Sanders, 5 points, 3 rebounds, dropped it off underneath to Blake, who at 6'9", rushed it a little bit. Big fella needs to take his time and a little bit more methodical. At 6'9", you can take all the time that you need. Lyons out to Brandon Askew, the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, a 4-year player. Antonio Wilson, his 3 from straight away, no good. Battle for the board, ends up in the hands of John Book. Book into the lane, maybe left his feet, uncertain what he was gonna do with it, but he's gonna live to talk about it as it's knocked out of bounds off of Randall University Saint. And we've got our media timeout. We'll have 2 of those at the 12-minute mark or close to that, and the 6-minute mark. And it's a timeout, 11:51 to play. Randall right now in the midst of a 6-2 run to cut the deficit, which was once 7, down to 3. It's 9-6, quarterfinal action here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Men's National Championship basketball is brought to you by our good friends at Integra Bank. Trust and integrity have been the pillars of Integra Bank since 1922. You can check them out for all of your banking needs at integrabank.com. We want to say thanks to some of our other national tournament sponsors as well, including Spinks, Aramark, Bon Secours, Pepsi, and Servant HR. Well, get down here this weekend if you can. It's been sunny. We're here for volleyball, and it rained the entire time in November for volleyball. And about 10 days ago, it looked like it was going to rain this entire weekend, but boy, the sun is shining the last couple days here in Greenville. It's been beautiful. They've got beautiful landscapes, a small town Main Street. It's no wonder people from all across the world are visiting. Check out Greenville, South Carolina. You can see what everybody's talking about. You can learn more at visitgreenvillesc.com. And we want to say thanks to Ben Bellarmine, Dan Wood, and the rest of the team over at the NCCAA, celebrating 50 years as an organization established to promote outreach and ministry for the enhancement and promotion of intercollegiate athletics with a Christian perspective. Learn more at the nccaa.org. 9-6. Blake around the horn here to Sanders. Sanders into the lane, feeding Sonnenberg, who cut in rhythm, and they found him for an easy two. Boy, that's like a quarterback to a wide receiver. That's a timing play that you can't really teach. It's just got to be discovered between the point guard and the big. Attacks into the lane, Sonnenberg moving in rhythm, and he drops it off to the big fella who lays it in. Right side, it's Lyons, no good. And a defensive rebound to Wilkerson for Maranatha. It is one and done right now for the team in gray. They trail by 5 as we hit the 11-minute mark in this first half. Keith Salscheider doesn't like the spacing directing traffic, and then he ends up with that as Wilkerson's three was blocked out of his hand by, I believe, Lyons. Wilson to the other end, no good, some contact, nothing call. Well, it's a 2-on-1 break. Book acts like he's gonna give it up, takes it to the rim, score the basket, and he was fouled. The bucket is good for John Book, and they're gonna call the foul on 15. Brandon Askew. Boy, I was going to start screaming like Dick Vitale to give the basketball up, but truth be told, John Book made absolutely the perfect decision there, because Brandon Askew never committed fully to the basketball, and that's exactly how you teach it to a young player. That point guard continues to go to the rack until that defender on a 2-and-1 on break fully commits to stop him, and he never did. And Book got all the way to the rim, and then by the time that Askew tried to come over and help, it was too little too late. He committed the foul, and the most impressive part of all of it was John Book being able to put it in while he was fouled. Lead up to 8, biggest lead of the game. Brad Ficken has checked in for Randall. Ficken missed about 4 weeks in late January and nearly all of February with an ankle injury. Mark Barakoff told us yesterday he is back at 100%, but the plan is to bring him off the bench. He has been a starter when healthy in the past. Good hustle here by both sides, and another defensive rebound to Maranatha. Ficken, a guy, quite a story though. In the midst of missing like 4 weeks, he ended up missing only 3 games. Randall had a 2-week stretch where Mark Barakoff just couldn't get him any game schedule. And that was a spot where Brad Ficken really rehabbed well and got that ankle healing quickly. Top of the key 3 in rhythm, missed everything out of the hand of Ty Bruno, and it'll go out of bounds back to Randall University. Saints enter at 17-13, a perfect 14-0 in the Southwest region. Maranatha 15-9, they are 6-1 in North Region play. Beat Moody, number 6 Moody, 72-58 in the North Regional Final. Moody had pulled off a couple upsets, but could not win a third game in that regional final against Maranatha. Played up at Emmaus Bible in Dubuque, Iowa. Randall University had to beat Arlington on Arlington's home floor. Shot clock at 1, and it's a shot clock violation as they contest the attempt there by Antonio Wilson. Yeah, they had beaten Arlington badly in the regular season, but had a little bit more trouble doing it at Arlington in the Southwest Region Final, but still got the job done and beat them by 11 in that Southwest Regional Final. Trying to give you a score on that if I can find it on my 6-page spreadsheet, as Blake just hit a 17-footer. Justin Blake was a perimeter player in high school doing stuff like that. Keith Salscheider said, kind of jokingly, he said, Rick, we had to retrain him a little bit as he came to college, especially at the NCCA D2 level, NCAA Division III level. By retrain, it's a big fella, you're 6'9", get your back to the basket and let's get you some touches around the rim, but obviously it adds a little bit more to the arsenal when he can do what he did at the basket at the other end. Left side in rhythm, it's Barnett. His jumper no good, and a rebound to Maranatha. Book out of the game here. Lerma slides over to the point, and he goes right to the rim and put it in. Lerma, the lone player from the state of California. This Maranatha roster has 9 different states represented, and a missed shot up close and a loose ball foul as well. The loose ball foul charged to number 5. That's Daquan Cubitt, who has just picked up his second personal foul, so he will sit down quickly. Mark Barikoff brings in the beef off of his bench. So a pair of 6'9" guys going to go head-to-head as Tristan Jarvis, the sophomore out of Sterling, Texas, is checked in. Averages 1.8 points and 2 rebounds. Into the lane, Bruno, a little bit off balance, and his shot no good. Rebound Ficken for Randall. Brad Ficken from Australia, 15-footer. Got right to where he wanted at that right elbow, but could not drop it in. Obviously, Ficken going to be a huge storyline. Mark Barikoff said he's 100% right now, but a couple shaky appearances in the regional tournament. Played him on Thursday at regionals, kind of sparingly, and then was full go on days 2 and day 3, and was not very effective. So hoping that for Ficken that another 10, 11 days off might help his cause as Lerma hits another 3. Lerma with 7. And Mark Barikoff looks up and realizes he is down 15 at this point. Folks, it's 21-6 Maranatha. And boy, Keith Salscheider just keeps sending bodies in front of us. We told you. I mean, you looked at this roster with Maranatha, and top to bottom, A, they were good players a year ago. They just missed their leader. And B, they brought a ton of firepower back, and I'm not ready to fill their name in on the bracket yet, but this is a good basketball team that doesn't get a lot of respect on the national scene, and some of it is their own cause by not playing teams outside their region. They did not have a single game last year against D2 schools outside the North region. This year, their only game against anybody in this tournament was a game against Great Lakes that they lost in the month of January, and they could help their cause considerably if they'd put a few more of these games on their schedule, but I know it's awful hard too when they have a host of games against D3 schools. But having said that, they're a D3 independent and don't have any allegiance to any of those teams. So schedule a few more of them, and maybe they might not be the 8th seed right now as Cassius Lyons just traveled with the basketball. So that's my sermon on that, but they're always the great unknown. The last 2 years, you just didn't know what you were going to get because teams at this championship had not seen them during the regular season. Sonnenberg to the right side here, and Book, who's back in. Sonnenberg screens and rolls, or they get the switch that they wanted, but Book unable to finish. They got the big on Book and the little on Sonnenberg, but Randall survives and lives to talk about it anyway. Around the horn to Wilson. Wilson into the lane. He'll bring it back out and reset. 6 minutes to play. Right side, Fickens. 3 on the rim, no good, and Sonnenberg a defensive rebound. Book looking to push. 15 feet away. Went halfway down, no. And finally the rebound picked off there by Jarvis for Randall. Wilson to Lyons, right back to Antonio Wilson, right back to Lyons. Jarvis, right baseline, goes right wing to Cubitt. Make that Barnett, no. But they're gonna call a foul here on Maranatha. And the foul is gonna be a blocking foul on Ty Bruno. It's his first, team third. And we get our second media timeout. A couple free throws coming up. And it looks like it'll be, well, we'll figure out the shooter. I was obstructed, I believe. Yeah, we'll see. A couple free throws coming up. It'll be the first free throws of the game for Randall University coming out of this timeout. So timeout on the floor, 5:32 to play in the first half. And don't look now, but boy, Randall won 3 games at last year's national championship by a total of 10 points. Got themselves down double digits with 6 minutes left against Kentucky Christian in the national quarterfinals before they went, I think, on an 11-0 run and won that game. The national semifinals, they played Johnson University and did not lead in that game until the final minute 8 of the second half, and then eventually went to overtime before they won that game. And then they needed everything they had left to knock off Bob Jones University in last year's national championship. They won that one 86-84. Trey Sneed was absolutely incredible down the stretch. He scored 10 consecutive points, 2 threes, went 4 of 4 from the stripe. Mike Bowles hit a free throw late, and that's what sealed the deal. Sneed storyline, 10 of 19 from the field, hit 5 of 8 from three-point range, 5 of 6 from the line, 30 points, 7 rebounds, and a team-high 3 blocks. Jason Barnhart had 30 points and 2 rebounds for Bob Jones in the losing effort. First free throw up and in for Malik Barnett. Barnett, a transfer from St. Gregory's School. It's a school that closed midway through last season, and the way they handle that, if you're a student athlete and your school closes, he was playing basketball, you get that year of eligibility back. He arrived at Randall second semester last year, but didn't want to chew up a whole year of eligibility playing. Knew there were guys like Sneed and Hunter in front of him and elected to save that final year of eligibility for this season. 21-8, 13-point advantage as we near 5 minutes to play in the opening half. Lerma off a flare screen, 3 on the shot clock, fading and hits again. Boy, David Lerma is smooth. Played 2 years at a JUCO Delta State out in Sacramento that produces a lot of D1s, and Keith Solscheider says just has an incredible IQ because of that experience. You play with guys like that, and you learn a lot about the game as well. Outlet to Lerma here, 16-point game, under 5 minutes to play. Lerma, a little step through, put in 2 more. Boy, that was outstanding right there. Antonio Wilson beat him to the spot on the first attack at the right elbow. And so he proceeded to step through and use his size against 5'9" Wilson to shoot one up close. Jumper by Wilson, no good. Matt Gill, another box out for Maranatha. Well, I can't think of one offensive rebound for the team in gray in the first 16 minutes. It has been a fundamental effort on the defensive end by the team in blue and gold. 18-point advantage, and they're going to get an illegal screen here on Sonnenberg, and I thought it was a hard screen. I'm not sure it was illegal. Charge a foul there to Sonnenberg. It's his first, team 4th. 26-8. Lead is 18. Maranatha pounced on him right out of the gate, led 7-0 before Antonio Wilson scored 3 minutes and 40 seconds in. And it has been all SaberCats. Randall hasn't shot the ball well. Give credit to Maranatha with that, but obviously some of these are going to go in as they miss again right on cue. Jarvis fights hard to grab an offensive rebound and a fresh possession. Right side, 3 on the rim, no good by Brent Clark. Clark, a freshman that they are very excited about in Moore, Oklahoma. Barikoff called him the best freshman they have ever recruited. Wilkerson in rhythm off some dribble drive, and he hits again. And that's a tough matchup there if you're going to send Jarvis out there at him, because Wilkerson can beat you on the perimeter, and Jarvis just not mobile enough to defend. 29-8, the lead is 21. Into the lane, no, and a defensive rebound there for Maranatha again. Under 3 minutes to play, first half. Anybody who saw this coming, your nose is getting bigger right now. You're lying. Book underneath, beautiful two-man game to Sonnenberg. One of the Saints fell down, and it is 31-8. The three-time defending champs are in a whirl of hurt right now. Wilson, right side, it's Brandon Askew. Back out to Antonio, straightaway three, no good. And Sonnenberg boxing out again. Boy, these guys are refreshing to watch. They box out every single time. Sonnenberg sets a screen for Book. 17-footer, he hit again. Boy, the more they can get Jarvis into that pick and roll situation, the bigger the advantage. Book went to the jumper there. You gotta believe he can put it on the floor against him too. Into the lane, right-handed reverse, no good by Brent Clark, and it's taken away by Maranatha. And nearly a turnover there. Wilkerson's outlet a little bit shaky. Left side, Sonnenberg's three, no good. And Jarvis grabs the defensive board. Yeah, anytime you can get somebody big with some size into that pick and roll situation, it's going to put the defense in a very precarious spot. Wilson, left wing. Boy, Randall has really settled for all jump shots in this first half. They have no inside game. Their guards have not been able to get to the rim against the 2-3 Maranatha zone. Wilson to beat the shot clock buzzer, and it nearly went down. Under a minute to play. 33-8. The lead is 25. We called Great Lakes the Cinderella story. Boy, this would be the talk of the NCCAA. Three-time defending champs in all kinds of trouble, and that one nearly went down, and it would have made it a 28-point game. And then Gill nearly tapped it in. Boy, one thing you notice, and Randall is always in shape, outstanding athletes, but these Maranatha guys are in shape as well. They are rim running. Again, they're boxing out every time, which takes effort to do that. They're aggressively moving in their 2-3 zone. They are in shape and ready. Wilson just shot an air ball from the left baseline. National Player of the Year, and boy has he struggled. 2 points in this first half. Little pick and roll, they find Gill, and well, I don't like that decision there. It was congested, plus there's 7 seconds to play. I want to hold it, and I want to shoot that with about 1 or 2. Here they bring Book in. They're going to bring Lerma in to try to get something here in the final 6.9. Book going to bring the basketball in. Does so to Wilkerson. Back out to Lerma. Is going to fire another three. Are you kidding me? David Lerma, dare I say, en fuego. And it is a stunned crowd here at Bob Jones University. Are you kidding me? 36-8. Maranatha leads Randall. The national champions are in big, big trouble here in Greenville, South Carolina. By halftime coming up, we'll send it to Dan Boone and the team here in the Bob Jones Media Department. We'll come back maybe at the 2-minute mark before second half action gets underway. Dan Boone, if that's okay with you, 2-minute mark, we'll come on and give some of the first half numbers, kind of recap what has transpired, and I don't know how I can describe it in 2 minutes. I guess it's as simple as Randall has settled for a lot of three-point shots. They've made very few of them, and Maranatha fundamentally sound. They have absolutely dominated the backboards. They have held Randall to one and done, and they have come in here on a mission, and they lead the three-time defending champs 36-8 here at halftime. We'll step aside, catch our breath. Second half action presented by Integra Bank coming up here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Back here at Bob Jones University, we're at halftime where number 8 Maranatha leads number 1 Randall by the score of 36-8. Your score on your screen right now is not an error. It is number 8 leading number 1 by 28 points. I can give you the 2-minute version of a summary of this first half, or I can give you 2 stats that tell the entire story. Randall University right now 0 of 17 from three-point range. The National Player of the Year, Antonio Wilson, has 2 points. He's 1 of 12 from the field, including 0 of 9 from three-point range. And Mark Barakoff talked about his concern on the backboards, and boy, has it been a concern. 26-12, the rebounding advantage. Maranatha plus 14 in the first 20 minutes. And Randall has 2 offensive rebounds. That's 2 more than I thought they had, because it has truly been a one and done on nearly every possession in that first half of the Saints. Was talking to some of the folks here at the table, and I think the storyline in this second half, obviously this team from Moore, Oklahoma, I'm just going to say they have more resilience than anybody that we've seen at this level in a long, long time. Their ability to fight back the way they have fought back last year is impressive. Double-digit deficits. But my friends, this isn't a double-digit deficit. This is a 28-point deficit. And I'm going to say it right now, the next 4 or 5 minutes of this basketball game will determine the outcome. We were talking here at the table, if they could get it down to 10 or 12 with 6 minutes left, at that point you put your money on the number 1 seed and all of their experience. But if they don't, and Maranatha can come out here and hold the lead, maybe extend it, my friends, this basketball game is over. They get booked to a miss on the first possession. Quickly to the other end, 2 and the foul. Well, they hadn't done that in 20 minutes. They obviously had some trapping at the other end that had Maranatha a little bit uncomfortable, and that's the first time we've seen Malik Barnett go right to the rim. They charged a foul on Wilkerson, but the free throw is no good. And that's a stat, if I'm Mark Barakoff, that concerns me, is I want to use my athleticism to get to the rim a little bit more. I don't want to settle. That's what Maranatha wants me to do. They were even playing off of Antonio Wilson, almost daring him to shoot some of those three-point shots. I want to pressure that defense. I want to make them have to defend me. Askew outside his 3, no good. They're 0 of 18, and it's going to be a loose ball foul, and it's going to be charged to Cassius Lyons. First on Lyons, first on the team, just underway here in the second half. 36-10. Boy, this would be incredible. I'll tell you that right now. All those rallies last year that I will never forget. 3 wins by a total of 10 points, but Sonnenberg, 17 feet away, went halfway down. Wilkerson, an offensive rebound, and they're going to stay right here with a foul on Cassius Lyons, and that's the right call. Second foul on Lyons, second on the team. The officials at this championship have been outstanding. I know it's only day 2 or game 2, but I'm also kind of adding in last year. We had, 18 games last year. They were absolutely outstanding. Lerma on a catch and shoot, and he hit again. Askew went for the steal, and once he missed, it left David Lerma all alone. He's got 18. Still playing that 2-3 zone. Right side Askew, 1 dribble, fires a 3, no good, 0 for 19. And it goes to Maranatha. Well, the word I would use right now is settling, and you just can't settle. I know you want to get it back with 4 or 5 3-pointers in a 2 or 3 minute stand here, but period. But use your athleticism and get into the teeth of that 2-3 zone. And a reach in on Cassius Lyon. No, they're going to call a walk on Wilkerson. I was obstructed here by one of our men in stripes and thought it was a reach in on Lyons, which would have been significant. It would have been his 3rd foul, all of them here in the first minute and 40 seconds. 29-point game. Wilson split the top of that defense and then dropped it off underneath to Malik Barnett. I would do that every single time. If you're going to have a huge gap between those top 2 guys, I've got the National Player of the Year, and I'm coming right down the middle, and they're going to call an offensive foul. So Lerma tried to get to the rack, and it was Malik Barnett, the senior from Midwest Oak City, Oklahoma, thank you, that beat him to the spot, draws the charge, and now Keith Salscheider says, let's call a full timeout and let's talk about it. So Men's National Championship Basketball presented exclusively by Integra Bank. Trust and integrity have been the pillars of Integra Bank since 1922. You can check them out for all of your banking needs at integrabank.com. NCCAA, the National Christian College Athletic Association, celebrating 50 years as an organization established to promote outreach and ministry and for the enhancement and promotion of intercollegiate athletic competition with a Christian perspective, a distinct Christian perspective. Find out more by visiting theNCCAA.org. Well, I love that team over there. Brandon, Dan, Ben. They got a great intern this year, Elizabeth, student at Southeastern University. Met her at the banquet and I was talking about her last night to Ben and Brandon. They're buying my dinner over at Tipsy Tacos, delicious Mexican restaurant here in Greenville, and she's outstanding as well. But what a joy it is. I'll say this probably 10 times over the next 3 days to get to broadcast the National Christian College Athletic Association, and humbled to be a part of it. And I say thanks to Neil Ring as well from here at Bob Jones for giving me the opportunity as well. And 44 years old, I hope they'll allow me to do it the next 30 years. 39-12, 17:50 to play. Lions left wing, out to Askew, around the horn to Wilson, and he hits. 1 for 20 as they finally hit a 3. First one coming at about the 17:45 mark from Antonio Wilson, and they're going to call a jump ball and a possession arrow to Randall. We talked about the energy that number 4 seed Great Lakes had in that first game of the day, and how they take the personality of their head coach, Richard Westerland. And boy, right now, if you're Randall, you need to continue to take the personality of your head coach, Mark Barakoff, who, again, is competitive as all get out and wants to win, but has the poise to fight back from a 24-point hole right now. Those guys, it doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and you're going to need that right now as Wilson attacked but threw it away. Looking to push his book. Left side, Wilkerson! Off some dribble drive, hits again. Stephen Wilkerson with 8. It was set up by the human press breaker, as they call him, John Book. Barnett goes to the rim. So Malik Barnett beginning to sense the advantage that he has getting to the rim. He's got 8. Wilkerson to Matt Gill. Gill on that left baseline, guarded by Barnett. Nothing there. No reason to hurry if you're wearing blue and gold or cheering for blue and gold. Shot clock down to 8. Book into the lane. Beautiful no-look pass to Rob Sonnenberg. Are you kidding me? He climbed into the teeth of the Randall defense and dropped it off on a no-look pass to Sonnenberg at the block. 44-17. Lions for 3, no good. Sonnenberg the rebound. Well, we're 4 minutes in, and Randall has sliced just a point off the deficit. Gill trapped on that left wing. That's a foul right there. That's clearly a foul that should have been called on Malik Barnett, trying to dial up some defensive pressure. Book, the extra pass, Wilkerson, no good. Gill caught it in midair, no. Antonio Wilson the rebound. It's a 4-on-1 advantage. Wilson to the rim for 2. Wilson with 7, 5 in the second half, and again, get to the rim, young fella. Lerma back out to Book. There's no doubt Randall's gonna have to hit some threes at some point, but penetrating a little bit might open up that perimeter a little bit. Shot up close by Gill, no good, and a rebound to Randall. Into the lane, Wilson setting up Lyons. Good look, and he buried it. It's the best look they've had, and they did exactly what we're talking about. Obviously, you want to attack and get shots. There, they get again into the teeth of the defense. They force 2 to guard 1, and it gives Cassius Lyons his best three-point look of the night. Left side, Book off some penetration, and he hits again. John Book, the second-team All-American, captain, spiritual leader, 4-year starter at point guard with 10 points in this game. Lerma on the floor, Wilson on the floor, and they're going to grant the timeout to Daquan Cubitt. Heads up play by Cubitt. I think if you're Keith Saltscheider and Maranatha, you're asking at that point, did Daquan Cubitt have possession of the basketball all by himself at that point? And the Men in Stripes thought he did. So one of the points of emphasis with Maranatha that we're going to talk about this weekend, we talked to Keith Saltscheider. We asked for some keys to victory, and one of them that he gave us that they have spent a ton of time on here in 2018-19 is contesting on the three-point line and closing out in contesting. And you know, we can say it's a bad shooting day for Randall right now. They're 1 for 20 or 1 for 21, but it's a lot of it has to do with the closing out and contesting that Randall has, or Maranatha has done as well. So really was a point of emphasis with this basketball team, and it has been a huge help here. It's an art learning to do that. Left side, Lyons is catching fire a little bit, as Lyons has hit 2 consecutive threes. He's got 8, the lead is 22. This is that spot, if you're Mark Barakoff, you're looking for a little 6 or 8-0 run to try to get right back into this game. They skip it to Lerma. Lerma into the lane, runner, basket, good, and he was fouled. Well, I think it was John Bailey that beat him to the spot, and it was on the first attack by Lerma. Couldn't get by Bailey, so he spun away from the defender, got into the lane, and once again used his size very, very intelligently against the smaller player. 21 points for David Lerma. Maranatha 3 of 5 at the stripe for 60%. Askew on that right wing. Will hand it off to Lyons, goes right back to Askew, and he hits a 3. First points of the game for Brandon Askew. It's been called Mr. Consistency this year. They're going to need some consistency down the stretch. Book into the lane. His runner is beautifully done. That's a dozen for John Book, the senior from Mountain Home, Arkansas. 52-28. Brad Ficken is checked in. Was their point guard in last year's national championship. Out to Antonio Wilson. Wilson into the lane, too much dribbling, and had the ball taken away by Sonnenberg. Lerma looking to push. Lerma, a little shake and bake underneath Sonnenberg, and he was fouled and will shoot 2. The foul is going to be charged to number 11. It's Brad Ficken. It's his first, team 4th. Free throws 6 and 7 of the game coming up for Maranatha. Rob Sonnenberg broke his leg 3 years ago. Had to have an 8-inch steel rod put in above his ankle, and Keith Salscheider said Ricky had to learn to just work hard just to walk again. Absolutely has worked his butt off and wasn't fat last year at all. That was how Keith Salscheider put it. Said he wasn't a fat kid. He was big and bulky, but 40 pounds lighter this year. Has rededicated himself to the game of basketball, has fought through adversity after that broken leg, and boy, it's paying dividends right now. SaberCats by 25 as we near our media timeout here at the 12-minute mark of this second half. Rick Cooper, the NCCAA Sports Network, Sonnenberg. Beautiful pass to a slicing, cutting Matt Gill, but Gill never got that shot up. Ficken looking to attack, went to the left hand, no. And it's picked off there by Aaron Sanders. Sanders to Sonnenberg, no good. Sanders an offensive rebound. Ball is loose and saved down there by John Bailey for Randall. Lions to Bailey. Bailey working against Gill, working that baseline and then threw a bad pass. And Lerma fouled out there, and they call the foul on Antonio Wilson. There's one complaint I have with this crew in this game, and they've been very, very good. But I think even on both ends of the floor, they have allowed a little bit too much contact at times out there. By definition, what happened right there that they called a foul on Antonio Wilson's happened 4 or 5 times and had not been called. And by definition, he impeded the progress of the offensive player. And that's a foul. We get our media timeout here at 11:35 to play in the second half. Number 8, Maranatha 53, number 1, Randall. The 3-time defending champs, 28. You're watching the 2019 NCCAA Division II Men's National Championship here on the NCCAA Sports Network. So I want to finish that thought a little bit on the idea of closing out and contesting, because it sounds, okay, it sounds great, Rick. Let's move on to, but it's one of the points of emphasis with this Maranatha team is the ability to get out there quickly, contest three-point shooters, close out, but at the same time, you've got to do it in a way that you can't abandon all the principles of good defense and just run at a guy because he's going to blow by you and go right to the rim. And it is something that they have devoted a ton of time to in practice, and they felt like going into this national championship that it would be a huge, huge key. And again, it obviously is a storyline when you're holding a Randall University team that comes into this national championship shooting three-pointers at a 36% clip, and they're 0 for 17 in the first half. That doesn't just happen by accident. It happens because of outstanding defense on the perimeter that Maranatha has applied here, and nearly a steal by Antonio Wilson and Brandon Askew. Good hustle by those two guys and a dangerous pass by the SaberCats. Maranatha has a national championship in their rich history as well back in 1990. One of their 18 national championships, 9 in volleyball, 3 in women's basketball. The women's basketball team here, Clayton Morrison, the CEO of that operation, 2 men's cross country, 2 men's wrestling, 1 men's soccer as John Book hits again. So they have been very, very good in a lot of different sports. Regina Delosier and women's volleyball been very, very good of late. And Brandon Askew just hit a 3. 55-31, under 11 minutes to play. Rick Cooper, the NCCAA Sports Network. Delighted you've decided to join us. We'll have 11 men's basketball broadcasts as Book 17-footer no good, and they're going to keep it right here as John Bailey and Aaron Sanders mixed it up a little bit, and they're going to get a loose ball foul on John Bailey from Randall, the 6'2 freshman from El Paso, Texas, their 8th man. And already it's number 7 on Randall University. 10:38 to play, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, down 24 points. You're going to have to extend this basketball game, or so it appears. Maranatha, 69% free throw shooting team. Aaron Sanders, one of their liabilities at the line, 18 of 35 for 51%, and that one missed badly, wide left. Boy, if I'm Mark Barakoff, I'm putting one on him again right away underneath. It's Barnett back out to Askew, who hits again. So the three's beginning to fall a little bit. Even that was a little inside-out action that made it easier for Askew. Sonnenberg in rhythm, answers with three of his own. Maranatha just will not go away. Leading by 28. Randall trying to make a run, and Maranatha just continues to answer as Wilson hits a three. Antonio with 8 in the second half, 10 for the game, and a reach in there on Wilson on that left wing, and he doesn't like the call. Second on Antonio Wilson, it's the 8th on the team. And it'll take Zeke Stuerald to the line. Stuerald, a 67% free throw shooter. 7th best on this team, 12 of 18, and he misses badly. And allow me to say that one more time, I would continue to put some of these guys at the line. Askew just hit that one from Spartanburg. Brandon Askew with 4 threes. He's got a dozen, and all of a sudden it's an 18-point game, and Lerma fouled on his way to the rim, and he should get a couple free throws here, and he will. One of the points of emphasis a couple years ago was a little bit more grace on when a player begins that process of shooting the basketball and more shooting fouls. And so they call the foul here on Malik Barnett. It's his first, team 9th. First free throw by David Lerma is up and in. He's working on a 22-point night, make it 23. And Keith Solskjaer is going to call a timeout here at the 9.5-minute mark of this second half. The number 1 seed, the 3-time defending champs, are in big, big trouble here in Greenville, South Carolina. Number 8, Maranatha, 60. Number 1, Randall, 40. It's the 2019 NCCA Division II National Championships, and you're watching them here on the NCCAA Sports Network. Games later today on the women's side, number 1, Arlington Baptist, number 2, Pensacola. The Southwest and South Region champions respectively have first-round byes, and they will not play till tomorrow night. Arlington will take on the winner of number 4, Maranatha, number 5, Bob Jones. Bob Jones, the host school, will play today at 4 p.m. Play the late game on the women's side. Number 2, Pensacola, tomorrow night at 5:45. Will take on either number 3, Randall, an at-large selection, or number 6, Johnson University, the Mideast Region champions. That game follows this one. Scheduled start time on that is 2 p.m. local time. That isn't going to happen. Chris Sheeman will have the call on that one. It'll be a little bit later. We tipped off on this one right about 12:15, so somewhere probably in the 2:15, 2:20 range would be my guess, but we'll catch our breath, grab a little bit of lunch. We'll have the men's games for you later tonight. Number 3, number 6, Trinity and Johnson at 6 p.m. And then the one that has everybody talking, number 2, Grace, number 7, Bob Jones. The nightcap, the scheduled start time is 8 p.m. Lerma, kind of the Euro step in there, but unable to finish. Long outlet by Ficken. That was absolutely beautiful. No, tip no good by Barnett, and they'll bring it back out to Antonio Wilson. Boy, that was pinpoint accuracy there by the senior from Adelaide, Australia. Dropped in near the rim is Barnett. And there's no may about it. He was hit on that as well. Should have been an and one opportunity there. So 60-42 was a 28-point game at the intermission. It's down to 18, so they have sliced 10 off of it. Question here is, can you get 6 or 8 more off of it in the next 3 or 4 minutes and at least make this interesting? Lerma on the run, forced it a bit. Rebound Ficken. Randall needs stops, and they need good execution offensively. Lead is 18 as we near 8 minutes to play in the game. Number 8, Maranatha, champions of the North Region, second consecutive year as Askew hits again. They're moving the basketball better on the outside, and they're hitting shots. 60-45, it's a 15-point game. Randall 0 of 17 in the first half, 8 of 11 on threes here in the second, and that one goes out of bounds back to Randall. So here comes Gill, here comes Book, and here comes Bruno for Maranatha. Daquan Cubit is back in for Randall. Malik Barnett has given Mark Barakoff really good minutes in this second half. 10 points for the game, 8 of them here in the second half. So again, digest what I just said. Randall 0 of 17 from 3 in the first half, 8 of 11 here in the second. I think they've had better looks. Left baseline, Askew gonna fire another one. This one backside of the iron, no good. And Bruno, the defensive rebound for Maranatha. That one would have taken it down to a dozen. And with 7 minutes and 20 seconds, at that point, Mark Barakoff's looking at his guys and saying, we've been here before. They had not been in a 28-point hole before, but they continue to fight. A resilient group, and again, the calm, cool, collected Mark Barakoff is key to a comeback as Sonnenberg hits again. Just never any panic. I'm sure there is internally, but what are you showing to the guys? And Barakoff just calm, relaxed, says, let's get through this one at a time, and Lyons hits one more and hits a three. He's got 11. It's like chopping a tree. One chop at a time, 62-48. They've cut it to 14. Gill out there to screen for Lerma. Now gets it to Book. Dangerous pass as Brandon Askew extending the pressure. Shot clock is down to 10. Gill gonna try to set a screen to help Book. Book into the lane, and they're gonna call an offensive foul. That's a bad call right there. That's the first bad call of the day. And now they're going to talk about it, are they? No, they're not talking about it. A, I think he was in the restricted area, but B, more than that, the Randall defender was clearly not in a legal guarding position there. He had not beaten the defender to the spot. And the Minute Stripes missed that one. You can watch it later tonight and on demand, and you make the call. 62-48. Got to beat that man to the spot if you're going to draw a charge, especially when you're flirting with that restricted area. Barnett left side to Wilson. Wilson got the step into the lane, scooped it up on the rim, no. And they're going to get a foul here on Barnett, who got tied up with Matt Gill. Second foul on Malik Barnett. It's number 10 on the team. So Randall's over the limit. They trail by 14 with 6:07 to play. And again, it's another one of those opportunities. Boy, I thought Wilson put that in. And beautiful attack. He's 5'9" in the land of the Giants. Scooped it up onto the rim. If that thing drops in, it's a dozen at that point. First free throw from Matt Gill is up and in, the senior from Rockford. First-year starter at the 4, but even when he hasn't started at the 4, Keith Salscheider said he has always played starter minutes, and that one, they're asking for a lane violation, but not going to get the call. Must be playing NBA rules. How many NBA games do I watch where there's lane violations? And unbelievable. Are we playing by the rules of basketball or aren't we? 63-48. Askew, one dribble, 17-footer, no good. Battle for the rebound, and Gill grabs another one. He'll hand it off to Book. Looked like they were going to try to double him way back there. Now they send a double out on that left wing. Underneath to Gill. Gill double team, picked up his dribble, drops it off to Lerma, who finesses another. If we find somebody in this championship that's smoother than David Lerma, I'll be shocked. He reminds me of a guy named Nate Roeder that played up at North Central back in the day. Smooth as silk. That ball stolen by Sonnenberg. Lead is 17. Saints running out of time. Book working against the National Player of the Year. He'll bring it back out, no 5-second count. Dribbling the basketball. Changed that rule about 3 years ago. Leaking is Askew, who gets 2 at the other end, and Mark Barakoff is immediately going to call a full timeout. So Brandon Askew with quite a second half. Did not score in that first half, but Mr. Consistent has erupted for 17 in the second half. Lyons has 9 of his 11 in the second half. Barnett 8 of his 10 in the second half. And Antonio Wilson with 8 of his 10 in the second half as well. And they're not going to quit. That's the one thing. Exactly 5 minutes to play in this game. And if you're Keith Solscheider, I'm telling my guys that right away. They're not going anywhere, fellas. This is not their first rodeo. They have been in this situation before, and they may end up losing this basketball game, but they're not going to quit. And they're going to continue to fight. They have the athleticism to trap and extend for 40 minutes, and they're going to try to turn you over and hit shots. And Maranatha does have some guys in their rotation that struggle a little bit at the free throw line. We saw Aaron Sanders earlier at 51%. That's a guy you'd like to get on the line. The big fella, Justin Blake, 62%. Gill just missed badly a minute ago. He's only 62%. And so I think with a deficit of 15 and 5 minutes left, part of that we're going to play to the end. Well, I'd be shocked if we don't see some fouls here too. Some heavy defense, trying to get traps, trying to get quick shots from Maranatha, but eventually they're going to have to extend this basketball game and force the team in blue and gold to win it at the stripe. 65-50. 4:40 to play. Book out there, picked up by Askew. Now a pick and roll, and coming out to get him is Cubitt. 5 on the clock, got into the lane. Cubitt got a piece of the shot, and they're going to get a loose ball foul on Matt Gill. Foul on Gill is his first, and it's the 4th on the team. And now we've got our media timeout with 4:32 to play. That's a tough play there. You look at Cubitt, who's much bigger at 6'3", and say, boy, let Book go to work there. But Cubitt about as athletic as they get, and going to really make it difficult with Book getting to the rim. I'd rather see him get into the lane and kick it out here at this point with 4:32 left. Daquan Cubitt, an interesting story. The guy who just blocked that Book attempt, junior from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. One of these guys that was a JV guy the last 2 years and has just continued to work his rear end off every day. Mark Barakoff said he just showed up and worked. He bought in. He stayed the course. This guy's like a state champion in the 110-meter hurdles. There were schools all over the Midwest, Southwest saying, we'd like to pay your way. Come jump hurdles for us at this NAIA school or this NAIA school. And he said, Coach, I love the game of basketball. So here's a guy paying to play college basketball when he could be going to a scholarship school, and he's paying to play JV basketball. And I just love those kind of stories. So many young people today, they just give up when it's not handed to them right away. And I love hearing stories like Daquan Cubitt, who said, I'm going to get better, I'm going to stay the course, and I'm going to end up being a difference maker on this Randall University team. Funny story, they'll be on ball trips and they'll talk about fond memories, and Daquan Cubitt will eventually every once in a while have to look at Mark Barakoff and say, Coach, I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't take me on that trip, is kind of the joke, that there were many trips where he wasn't fortunate to be a part of it and hasn't shared in all the memories, but wants to share in one here. It's the closest Randall has been. They have taken 16 off this score, the deficit in the second half. It's down to a dozen, and they throw it away there. That's not needed. Wilkerson trying to do too much there and forgetting the score, up a dozen. Boy, a huge possession here. Right side, it's Askew. Around the horn to Wilson, shows 3, got the step, put it up, no, but he'll shoot 2. Boy, and those may be the difference between comeback and not a comeback. He had that scoop shot earlier that looked like it was going to be an and one opportunity. Here they get the foul on Sonnenberg, who picks up his second, team fifth. And Antonio Wilson to the line to shoot two, and the first one kicks out on him. Randall only their fourth and fifth free throw attempts in this game. They're 2 of 4 at the stripe. This would make it 11. Gotta have this one, and they do. So Antonio Wilson with 9 in the second half, 11 for the game. And it's 65-54 as Wilson tries to dial up some more defensive pressure. Lerma attacks and then steps back. I think maybe he got caught in that head-to-head matchup there with Wilson, who was talking a little bit. Bring it back out and chew up clock. You're up 11 with under 4 minutes to play. Into the lane, Cubit put it up on the rim, no. And it's gonna stay here with Randall. Boy, did the SaberCats survive one there. Cubit puts that one in, and it's 9 with 3:12 to play. And again, these are the 3-time defending national champs. Underneath, back out to Lyons. His three no good, and Gill, a ginormous defensive rebound. Watch the shot clock on this possession. If I'm Keith Solscheider, there is no shot going up here with more than 5 on the clock. You have got to chew up this shot clock here with an 11-point advantage and 2:48 to play. Down to 8, down to 7. Now you attack. Nicely done, Maranatha. Down to 4, down to 3. I'll take the violation. Book to beat the buzzer, and it's a shot clock violation. And at the end of the day, that's not a bad decision. I'd rather take the 30-second shot clock violation than chuck one up with 17 on the shot clock that I miss and watch Randall go to the other end. That's like a dead ball turnover. Had to bring it in. Askew, and little game of hot potato. And it went right through the legs of Antonio Wilson. It's a turnover. And that right there, that reaction by Brandon Askew, is the first time we've seen any reaction unfavorable out of a Saint in this basketball game. They have just continued to fight. And boy, you give credit to both of these teams. It's like a heavyweight battle. Maranatha did all the punching early, and now they're trying to weather the storm and find a way to win. And Randall, we said it last year during the broadcast, you never underestimate the heart of a champion, and they are going to fight until the final 2:28. Had a couple opportunities here late. You think about that runner by Cubit in the lane, and then the and one opportunity by Antonio Wilson that he missed, and then subsequently split a pair of free throws. This very easily could be a 65-57, maybe even 65-58 basketball game right now. So I think if you're Mark Barakoff, this is the time you're going to have to extend it. You can't give up a 30-second possession right now where Maranatha takes a shot clock violation. You've got to get turnovers, you've got to extend pressure, and you've got to commit fouls. And if Maranatha hits free throws down the stretch, that's where you shake their hand after the game and say, well done. Wonder if my good friend Kent Delozier is watching up in Watertown, Wisconsin. Just thought about him, and now an inadvertent horn gets blown, and we're going to play through it, apparently. Husband to wife Regina, the volleyball coach, one of the good guys. That one deflected. Good effort there, and the basketball is going to go out of bounds, and it's going to go back to Maranatha. 14 on the shot clock. Now if you're Mark Barakoff and 16's come off, I think you probably play this possession out, but this may be the last one you can play out. Down 11. Shot clock down to 8. Left side, it's Book. Left baseline, Sonnenberg. Back out to Lerma. Lerma trying to get it underneath. No, caught it himself, and another shot clock violation. So it's 11, minute 55 to play. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Randall over the 10 foul limit. Wilson to Lyons. Back out to Wilson. You need quick buckets here. Cannot pass this around like it's the 19-minute mark of the first half. Jumper by Wilson, no good. Offensive rebound by Cubit, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. A good effort there by the junior from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Most athletic player on this team. Along with Malik Barnett, they'll charge the foul here to Aaron Sanders. For Sanders, it's his first and the team's sixth. And we touched on it a moment ago as another free throw off the mark for Randall. Sanders, one of those guys out on the floor right now. A's a true freshman, so I want to follow him no matter what the stats are. And B's only at 51%. So he's a guy on the make or miss here. And it's going to be a second miss, and Matt Gill a defensive rebound. 11-point game with 1:38 to play. Extending pressure but not committing any fouls, and now they commit one with 1:31 to play. And again, over the 10-foul limit, they'll charge the block to Antonio Wilson. It's his third. David Lerma, senior from Lodi, California. Slides over to the point when Book isn't in there. Transfer from a JUCO out in Sacramento, California. One of the things I love that Keith Solscheider said about Lerma is how unselfish he is. He said, Rick, he really sets the tone for our unselfishness as a unit, as a team. Lerma with 27. He's a guy that could probably shoot it and score it every time he touched the basketball. 67-54. Wilson, how did he put that one in? Maybe season saving. Is it too little, too late? Lead is 11. They're going to trap Lerma here in the corner. Now to Sonnenberg, who's going to hoist a three with 20 on the shot clock, and he lives to talk about it as the smallest guy on the floor. Just grabbed an offensive rebound. Not necessarily perfect decision-making down the stretch. Book, left side, Gill. Gill into the lane, shooting it with 17 on the shot clock, and it goes in. Neither of those shots should have gone up, but at this point, it looks like the Cinderella story from Watertown is going to extend for another day as Cassius Lyons just hit a three. It's a full timeout by Mark Barakoff with 44.2 seconds left. Boy, I can't fathom shooting a three from the corner with 20 on the shot clock and then shooting a runner in the lane with 17 on the shot clock when you're trying to knock out the three-time defending champs. Bring it out. Let's play four corners. And let's take the full 30 off the clock. But despite some of that shaky decision-making down the stretch, Maranatha by 10, 69-59. It has been a world-class comeback by Randall, but it looks like with 44.2 seconds left, they may just run out of time. They have hit 12 of 19 threes in the second half for 63%. They have shot 59% from the field. The only thing they have not done well in terms of shooting in this second half is free throws. They are 1 of 5, and that hasn't helped their cause. Maranatha shooting 45% for the game, 47% on threes, 8 of 17. Battle the backboards, 39-28, Maranatha plus 11. So they have dominated that statistical category. Both teams have taken good care of the basketball. Only 7 turnovers for each team. We nearly had like 40 of them between the first two teams, Arlington Baptist and Great Lakes, earlier today. I think 38 was the official number, 20 on Arlington Baptist, 18 on Great Lakes. And a foul here that takes only 2 seconds off the clock, and they charge the foul here to Antonio Wilson, who's now picked up his 4th, team over the 10-foul limit. And Aaron Sanders to the line, and he says, Rick Cooper, thou shalt not look at my statistics during the year. 18 of 35 coming in, but it's the first. They bring back in Brad Ficken with 42.1 seconds left. It's an 11-point game. Sanders bends the knees. Good again. Ice in those veins. Makes it a 12-point game. Ficken gonna try to race up the floor. Left side, Askew fires a three and hits again. Clock stops on the make. And it's now a 9-point game, 71-62 with 35.7 left. Foul is on Malik Barnett. It's his third, team 13th, team over the 10-foul limit. And so John Book will go to the line and shoot two. Book, the senior from Mountain Home, Arkansas, 76% on the year. And the first one is up and in. Been a solid night for the point guard that they hoped to have last year. Turned an ankle in the North Region final. We're hoping, and treatment just not effective, but he comes back in this his senior year. What a story they're going to be able to tell. Three-time defending national champs as Cassius Lyons missed that one. 73-62. We walked into this championship, all the preparation we did, and what it said to me was that this would be anybody's championship. Mark Barakoff even said, Rick, we are more vulnerable than we have ever been. Keith Solscheider, the biggest win in his 7 years at the helm. Number 8, Maranatha, with 3 seconds left, and that will do it. The SaberCats have sent shockwaves through the national championship brackets as they knock off number 1 Randall by the final of 73-62. SaberCats led 36-8 after one. Boy, what an effort by Randall in the second half. They put 54 points on the board in that second half. They outscore Maranatha 54-37, but one thing you learn is it's hard to come back when you dig yourself a 28-point deficit at the end of one. So a valiant effort by Randall, but Maranatha, a winner. Number 8 knocks off number 1 by the final of 73-62. It sets up a national semifinal match between number 4 Great Lakes and number 8 Maranatha. It's a rematch, two teams that saw each other in the month of January. Keith Solscheider didn't see him. He was celebrating the birth of his first child back in Watertown, Wisconsin, but two teams that played earlier in the year. I think Great Lakes by 11 is what's in my head in a matchup earlier in the season. They will meet again with a trip to the national championship on the line. So, boy, you exhale a minute, and all I want us to say is, wow. I mean, you just witnessed something that has not been done at this championship in 3 years, and it was done by the number 8 seed Kentucky. The 8 last year had a 10-point lead with 6 minutes left, but could not finish the job. And today, Maranatha by 28 at halftime. They held Randall to 8 points in the first half. They held him to 0 of 17 shooting from three-point range, and they hang on, and they win 73-62. Randall will play tomorrow at 9 a.m. They will take on Arlington Baptist, two teams that know each other well out of the Southwest region. The winner will advance to the 5th place game. The loser will end their season in 2018-19. But a shocker here on day number 1 of national championship action. Number 8 Maranatha behind a solid effort from David Lerma, 27 points. They get 16 from the second-team All-American John Book, Rob Sonnenberg with 11, and Matt Gill just doing what Matt Gill does, throwing guys around, finishes with a half dozen. And Randall in a losing effort tonight, 23 from Brandon Askew, all of them in the second half. They get 13 tonight from Antonio Wilson, the National Player of the Year, 14 from Lyons, and 10 from Malik Barnett. But again, the storyline, you dig yourself a 36-8 deficit, and it is impossible, next to impossible, to climb your way back. Couple women's games coming up. Chris Sheeman to my right, getting ready to get settled and get going. First game of the day, number 3 Randall, number 6 Johnson, and at 4 p.m., number 4 Maranatha, number 5 Bob Jones. We'll take a break, catch our breath, and we'll see you tonight, 6 p.m. It'll be number 3 Johnson University men against number 6 Trinity, and the 8 p.m. game tonight, features the host school, Bob Jones, the number 7 seed, against Gary Bailey and Grace Christian University, the number 2 seed. Until then, again, we'll take a break. Chris Sheeman will have the call for you next. I'll talk to you at 6 p.m. tonight. You're watching the 2019 NCCAA Division II National Basketball Championships here on the NCCAA Sports Network.